lyrics. So we're going to look at a song, and we're going to be exploring lyrics here. And
Yeah,
so,
our second installment of our lyric analysis videos.
our last one we had talked about an Elton John song, "Benny and the Jets," which is a little difficult to understand. But we're going to make it even harder to understand. It was a song that's known for being difficult, particularly difficult to recognize the lyrics, and that is dun 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 dun. Can you guess what it is?
Louie Louie by the Kingsmen,
There you go. Yeah,
the
that's great.
iconic song that no one understands the lyrics to, but we're
And
gonna we're gonna deep dive into the actual lyrics and
and it came
and
out in 1963, did it? Around that time?
I don't know.
Or you can well let's if you'll share your screen and we'll take a
No,
look at the
it sounds
lyrics.
right though.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up on my phone here. Let me see what it says while you look
Siri, when was Louie Louie recorded?
at Yeah, just look it up here. What year was, you want to share your screen with the lyrics?
Good idea.
I'll
Good
look at my
idea.
phone. What year was Louie Louie recorded? Here it is, 1963. I was right. It was composed by American musician Richard Berry in 1955, recorded in 1956, and released in 1957. It is best known for the 1963 hit version by the Kingsmen, has become a standard in pop and rock. Hmm. So it came out in the
Hmm.
50s, but then they did a version in 1963. The song is based on the tune El Loco Cha-Cha, popularized by band leader Rene Touzet or Touzette, and is an example of Afro-Cuban influence on American popular music. It says Louie Louie tells in simple verse chorus form the first person story of a lovesick sailor's lament to a bartender about wanting to get back home to his girl.
All
And
right. You
and
want to
then
just
yeah,
you
go
want
ahead.
to just read through these first, or do you want to just take them one at a time?
Why don't we read through the whole thing quickly here? It goes,
Okay.
Louie, Louie, oh no, you take me where you gotta go. Yeah, 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 baby. Louie, Louie, oh baby, take me where you gotta go. Something he says, a fine little girl, she waits for me. Me catch the ship across the sea. Me sail that ship all alone. Me never think I'll make it home. People really talk like that in the Caribbean? Maybe, I don't know. But and they go, oh, Louie, Louie, no, take me where
It
you
kind
gotta
of
go.
reminds me of the Banana Boat song.
Oh, yeah. Get
Well,
the
that's a song for another video, though.
Yeah, for sure. It says three nights and days I sailed the sea. Me think of girl constantly on that ship. I dream she there. I smell the rose in her hair. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You gotta go.
Louie, Louie.
Oh,
Oh no,
me gotta
me
go.
gotta go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's give it to him right now. And there's a guitar solo
Give it
there.
to him right now. Down, 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 down.
Right.
Okay.
And then me see Jamaica, the moon above. It won't be long to see me love. I me take her in my arms, and then I'll tell her I'll never leave again. And then the rest, let's hustle on out of here, he says, and let's go at the end. But my interpretation of this song was always, I before I knew better.
I think it's all the me's that make it so hard to understand
Mhm.
because he's trying to do it in like kind of a Caribbean dialect or whatever. But if you're not aware of that, then it just kind of confuses confuses your brain, you know.
Yeah. Um, and the vibe that I get from it is always been college fraternity party, because it just seems like something that you would
Yeah.
play at a college fraternity party where you
Well,
got a punchbowl.
here in Birmingham, we had a bar called Louie Louie. It
Uh,
was a real popular place for years and years, and then it got changed to a couple different bars, and that location has just been sitting empty for about 10 or 15 years now.
No, nobody wants to put this.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, but we don't have to get all off into that. But I personally, I think it might be haunted, and that's why nobody wants to move in there. But
Because of paranormal activity.
yes, yes,
Oh,
that's my theory.
could be. I mean,
Could
in
be,
any
yeah,
case, you can't have paranormal activity in a place unless it has a history, because the history is kind of like the wellspring from which the paranormal activity springs, right?
right, right. It's
So what?
it's the fuel.
So Louie Louie, the club, not the song, but the club itself had a long, storied history, I guess, in Birmingham, right?
Yeah, it was open for a long time. I don't know how long, but used to hear advertisements for it on the radio when I was a kid and stuff, you know. I don't think I ever actually went there when it was Louie Louie. I went, they changed the name up to I forgot, was it the hippo drum or something weird like that? I don't. Anyway, we don't have to
Anyway,
get all off into that. Do we have
well,
anything else to say about Louie Louie the song?
yeah, I did. So to me, it's always been about drinking, and I know there's, looking through the lyrics here, I'm assuming these are relatively accurate, but
Yeah.
I don't see any mention of alcohol in here. Although in the context of the song is he's at a bar talking to the bartender, but I don't hear him talking about alcohol. But my
Yeah, there's no
uh,
and people I've heard back when this song was first on the radio, people were thought it was dirty or something like some like the lyrics were dirty or something, but I don't see anything like that in the lyrics, you know.
No, me neither. But I do think it has become a drinking song. It has become, is fair for me to say, it's become a song associated with heavy drinking and parties.
Yeah, maybe I feel like this song is kind of like it's really not that popular. It's kind of lost its popularity a little bit and becomes like almost like a forgotten song.
Oh yeah.
I think probably I don't know if the millennials or the Z's really are aware of this song that much, but it was everywhere. You know, back in the day, you couldn't get away from it.
Yeah, it could be that I'm just confusing my own memories of what the song meant to me and my peers when I was
Yeah,
a teenager. It was still a pretty popular song in the 80s. And maybe like you said, the current generation is maybe not so tuned into it like we were.
yeah.
But I don't know. I think of it as being a perennial type of a song, that is kind of transcended generations, that has been around for a very long time, kind of a standard song, kind of a song that people
hmm
will hear. And
I do love the fact that it's hard to understand what the guy's saying. I think that adds to the character of it. And I also love the keyboard playing that minor chord. Like I heard a Black Flag cover version of that one time, and they didn't play it right. They were playing all major chords. That was they just didn't get the feel of it, you know.
yeah, it's the second chord, dun 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 dun. No, that's the third chord is a minor chord, isn't it?
Yeah, the third chord is the minor chord.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a thing there, but it's on the keyboards and on the electric guitar. They're both kind of doing the same thing,
Yeah,
I
right.
believe. Yeah, well,
It's a classic. It's a classic.
it's a timeless song. It's been around a long time. I think the other thing I used to hear was, um, I must have asked somebody this. I said, "What are they saying in the song?" And one time I asked, and somebody said, Uh, well, the guy was really drunk when he sang it, so that's why you can't tell what he's singing. And so that kind of became like an urban legend, like Louie Louie, when the singer sang the song, he was totally smashed, and that's why you can't understand the words.
Yeah, that's actually kind of believable, but I don't think he was. I think the lyrics were just they all had all that funny little me's in there that made it hard to piece together what he was saying.
Yeah, he's trying to
Oh,
speak.
I just noticed this down here. It says release date January 1st, 1963. That's kind of
Mhm.
interesting that it was released. I don't know if there's that many songs that were released on January 1st. That
Yeah.
seems interesting to me.
Yeah, it is an interesting detail. Why right on New Year's Day, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, that also tells you a lot about you know, the context of the song and musical history. You know, it's a big difference. To me, there's a huge difference between 1962 and 1963. Because to me, 1962 is more connected to the 50s. And a
Yeah.
lot of the music that comes out there. And when you get into 1963, you have the Beatles really crashing onto the scene, you know,
Hmm.
internationally. I mean, the Beatles were there in 62, and if you listen to their work from 62, it's real, in a lot of ways, it's connected more to the 50s. And then when suddenly you get to 63, suddenly you're just in a whole, it's a transitional period. And it's funny that they're right there,
Yeah.
that
And
transition between
then
those two
you
years.
had the Stones and the Who, like kind of shortly after that, or maybe
Yeah,
right around the same time.
it was the beginning of a new era in music.
Yeah.
So
British
yeah, yeah.
British invasion
hmm
type
You
of
can kind
music.
you can kind of look at Louie Louie then as a marker in that evolution of pop music history. Kind of a
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah. Okay, well that wraps it up for our discussion of Louie Louie, and we'll talk to you later.
Later.